all of my designs, if you go on the site, have a backstory. That, like, it's not like I'm out here just creating fractals or whatever. All of my designs come from a very genuine place, come from a place of meditation. And so they are, yes, they are, and I call them conjure clothes that brought all of who we are and all of who we survived and have become to be reflected back at us. So that's, and I think we need to see that everywhere. We need to have our own damn pillowcases and towels and whatever. Everywhere we go, we should, and in my own home, everywhere you go, your eye rests on something that reflects back who we are. We're Black. We love women. We cherish women. We're queer. Everything in this house reflects back to you that message.
Visit yes.com to see yourself reflected everywhere you look in your home, because you deserve it. 4Ms, yes.com. Others in the birth arena to celebrate the passing of HB 315. This bill authorizes midwives to practice community birth in Alabama. This is a very, very, very big deal. And this is not the first time that Mama Shafia has done this. All right. In Oregon, she worked to get HB 3311 passed to legalize community midwifery care there as well. Oregon was also the first state to approve Medicaid reimbursements for doula care under her direction. So the Black Midwives Conference at the end of May will be a celebration and a call to action for this to take place all over the country. Thank you so much for being here, Mama Shafia.
For that nice reminder of us just being in a call for action at all times. As they say,
absolutely.
Stay ready, right? Stay ready.
Yeah, stay ready. We have to stay ready because we are literally at war for our lives. Shafia Monroe is the world-renowned Queen Mother of a Midwife Movement, a name bestowed on her for her revolutionary midwifery work in Boston, Massachusetts, her hometown. Throughout her 40-plus year career, she has founded and spearheaded organizations and programs whose missions are to reduce infant mortality and maternal mortality through training, education, and advocacy. She's the founder of the International Center for Traditional Childbearing, ICTC, and the ICTC Full Circle Doula Training to increase the number of Black midwives and doulas to empower families and bring Black midwives together. So, while we know that Black women and babies are in danger birthing within the hospital enterprise, I call it an enterprise because it's one of the top revenue generating industries for this country. Okay, surgeries, pharmaceuticals, so on and so forth. Those statistics were incentive enough for me to birth at home. And I gave birth at home unassisted for both of my children because in my state, it's illegal for midwives to attend home births. And the work that you're doing has inspired me to get motivated to make those changes here as well. But if a birthing person is decidedly at risk, is there anything they can do to bring their health back into alignment so that they can secure a safer hospital birthing experience in states like mine where midwife-attended birth is not yet legal?
What state are you in?
I'm in North Carolina.
Oh, okay, North Carolina. Yes, there are. Well, and thank you, everybody. And thank you, sis, for having me on. I saw at the Gullah Geechee Herbal Gather. It was an awesome time to see you, that fresh air, beautiful people. So it's good to see you again. So thank you for the invite. And I am glad to be here, everyone. And so, yes, definitely the body is designed to be healthy. The body wants to be healthy. So definitely we can keep ourselves out of risk. But at the same time, as you mentioned, it's important to understand that everybody cannot have a home birth. And that's why we have to insist that we have the right to give birth any place in a safe environment. And that means a hospital too. We should not be forced to have a home birth because the hospital is not safe. We're paying our taxes. We voted our people in, whatever the case may be. They made a declaration to do no harm. They have to be accountable. So they need to get their act together. But at the same time, you know, how we eat, you know, how we exercise, the kind of environment we live in, and that's also an issue that sometimes we can't control. We know statistically, all the pollution is always put in Black and low income areas. So more of our kids have asthma. I texted you all Houston. I don't want to say, but a lot of my friends have actually died from cancer in Houston. I don't know what's in Houston. So, you know, you have these oil fields. We got Flint, Michigan, you know, full of lead. We have all these things going that we know and don't go. So you got to check out your environment. You got to research, like, is there a landfill, you know, 25 feet or 100 feet from your area? What was that site before you moved there? You know, was it a swamp? You have to take the time to investigate and then decide if you're going to live there. But a lot of times we don't have a choice. You know, a lot of times we're living where that's the whole point. We don't have a choice, and that's why they do what they do. So then you want to get like an air filter in your home. So at least you can try to keep the air. Put plants in your house if you don't live in the country. So at least the oxygen from the plant's going to help. Take extra vitamins, like particularly vitamin C and free radicals, vitamin E, your vitamin D, that things that keep your body pushing things out. Drink your dandelion and your chicory root tea that makes the liver process all the toxins. You know, find a good naturopathic physician. You know, all of us, you know, get our teeth fixed, because really cavities and poor oral health contributes to a lot of health disease besides just premature birth. We didn't know that. So, you know, everything in our body has to be okay. It takes time. It does take money to a certain extent, but being a mother of 7 and having been off and on my life fixed incomes, I've always cooked from scratch. I've always, if I couldn't afford meat, it was just going to be the whole week. I could afford a bag of organic beans. I could afford a bag of brown rice. I wasn't buying Burgerville. I wasn't buying Burger King. So my money wasn't going to fast food. We didn't go to the movies with my 7. We're going to play games, and that's before phones out, y'all. So y'all see how old I am. We read books together. We drew. We took walks. We did other things with our time, so my money could go for good food. So I've always have eaten and raised my children on breast milk and a high quality diet to the best of my ability. You know, another thing I talk about is putting children in those flame resistant pajamas. I'm against that because that has a chemical in it. And so your child sleeping in a flame resistant pajamas that they sell for safety, your skin is the organs. Everything from your skin is absorbed into your body. So his little infant, all its life is being absorbed with this chemical to be against being on fire. So just look at what you're going to do, like how you live your life, what kind of chemicals you use, and what your children wear. I'm a cotton person. This is cotton. I look for cotton. You know, I'm mad you can't find female underwear. You know, it's all this recyclable garbage bags out of China. That being against your private area, like what's down there, what's near your body, you know, what's your bra made of, you know, and it takes more time because China and these other countries send all this cheap stuff we buy because, again, economics. But if you get one opportunity to buy 2 or 3 high quality cotton from a Goodwill, yard sale, or get offline, then just keep it. Because this thing, you all, I'm being real, this ain't new, but it's cotton. And I wash it by hand, and I iron it, I love it, I love the colors, and I can breathe. And I'll say another thing, you all are young, but as you get older like me, and you be going through change, you want cotton, because you be getting like hot. And so having breathable clothes, even when you're pregnant, breathable clothes makes you have less stress because your body's raising temp from carrying your baby, or it's raising temp from going through menopause. So having live fabric is important.
Right.
And of course, tons of water.
Yes, thank you. I had I was talking to my nieces. We were walking in Walmart, and one of them said, Risha, Baby G, they call my mother Baby G. Baby G told us, you don't shop at Walmart. Why you don't buy your clothes from Walmart? I said, because they have a lot of chemicals in them that are harmful for your body. Right. They was like, but you shop at the thrift store. I said, I shop at the thrift store because they have older clothes, which are oftentimes 100% fabrics, 100% cotton, silk. Right. So that's why I have no problem shopping at the thrift store, because I can get vintage clothes before they started adding all the chemicals to it. So, you know, and they kind of turned their nose up at me. They couldn't understand it. And I'm trying to explain to them. But yeah, I really appreciate you taking the onus off of the mother. The pressure is not on us to create safe hospital birth experiences. Right. The onus, the responsibility is on these doctors.
Exactly. Who are getting paid.
Learn culturally competent care, to understand that There are other positions that women want to give birth in.
Right.
Everybody is not for vaccines. Everyone is not about, all the interventions that you want to push on them. Your blood pressure naturally rises when you're giving birth. During labor and delivery, your blood pressure is going to rise. That doesn't mean I need a C-section.
But it shouldn't rise too high, you all. I mean, there's a limit. Your blood pressure between 80 and over 100. And I'm glad you brought that up, sis, because really the blood pressure is an issue. We have to understand, is it genetic? They say that because of the transatlantic enslavement of not having salt is one thing why we're more prone for it. Some say it's I don't call it a Southern diet. I call it our urban diet. We're eating all the fried okra, the fried tomatoes, green fried this. That's not the really traditional diet. The traditional diet was always wet food. It was boiled food. It was mostly stew. It wasn't fried. The fried is new. That's not our culture.
Okay.
So if you're eating
Thank you for that.
Yeah, if you're eating a lot of fried foods, and by the way, I am finishing my book on African-American postpartum foods, deeply into this. So definitely we boiled everything, we stewed it. Frying was rare. Or we took it and we threw it into the fireplace on the ashes so it baked, but it was not a lot of grease. That's not what we did. So that's a new phenomenon. It's good. Like I like, fried food too, but not like we're doing today. It's all people eat. So the blood pressure for our African-American women and our men, because men are stroking out too. You have to know what your blood pressure is. It should not be over 100. That's high. So you have a top number, bottom number. So systolic, diastolic. So your bottom number shows how much force it takes for your blood to go through your body. Our blood is constantly circulating because it has to give oxygen. That's the role of the blood. The role of the blood is to grab the oxygen and give it to every single cell in our body so we can stay alive and thrive. And if there's too much pressure to do it because our arteries are hard, then something breaks open called a stroke or aneurysm. And in pregnancy, the preeclampsia or stroking out after. So you do want to see what your blood pressure is. And that's going to be normal. If it's normal and it gets high, that's okay. But it's already high and then it gets high, doesn't mean to sit and set. It just means that something's going on. So find out what your blood pressure is now. If it is high, see what you can do. I'm not going to give medical advice, but find a naturopath, find an acupuncturist, find a doctor who listens, change doctors. I want my blood pressure to go down. What can you do to help me as my doctor? That's the question. As my doctor, how can you help my blood pressure get down? In your opinion, what should my blood pressure be? And don't say because I'm Black, we run high. They say, well, you're Black, it runs high. No, I want the same blood that your white wife has. What does she have? I want that. Really. Don't let mine down because I'm Black. That's the assumption. Oh, we just run high. No, we don't run high. There's a problem with that. So our diabetes, we got to get rid of all this, type 2, getting from all the sugar we're eating, lack of exercise. So these things are killers. It shortens our life. And we have to find out and also too, it's up to us to be healthy. It's no one else's job. This is my temple. I have to take care of it. The doctor helps me take care of it, but I have to know what's wrong with it. I have to express myself. I have to know my patient's rights. I have to be willing to do the work to get the solution. If this doctor can't help, well, I have to go find out what your doctor is. I'm in North Carolina. Who do you use? Google the best Black doctor, best white doctor. At the end of the day, okay, we'll call it. If they're doing a good job, I'm going to go see you. And make those changes so that you get your normal weight, your normal blood pressure, your normal sugar level, feeling exhausted. And also another good thing that we don't talk about is the iron level. All of our girls are anemic, and all of our girls are on birth control pills for menstrual pain, which is two things that we should not be on. I talked to more girls with 12, 15, been on the pills since they were like 13 because they have cramps and too much bleeding. That is a serious problem. There are herbs for that. There's a way that we have a lifestyle for that. A girl should not be on birth control because of a pill, her menstrual cramp. We need to get rid of the cramp. And also, all the girls are anemic. So by the time you get pregnant, you're already anemic, which means if you lose any blood during your delivery, you're more prone to go into shock and have a hard time. Plus, when you get home or wherever you birthed at, your recovery is going to be more difficult, and you're going to feel more tired and also more prone for depression. And no one tells us that, right? Have you heard that?
No, ma'am.
Yeah. So, and do we know our hematocrit number? 38 to 30, 35 to 38. We should ask your doctor, what's my iron level? Oh, it's 36. Well, what's the normal? Oh, so what's the normal level though? Oh, the normal level is 42, but I'm 38. Well, you're okay. You're borderline. I don't want to be borderline. I want to be where it's supposed to be. Insist on those numbers and ask the question, what does that number mean? Is that normal? That was, so what's your number? What's your daughter? I was up in their business. Like, well, what's your number? But
Right.
like, because I want to know, are you borderline too? If you're not, I don't want to be. If you are, I still don't want to be. So we
Right.
have to, and if you have a daughter who starts having a period, I had a daughter, she had a period at 11, had 4 girls, 3 boys. And I want to say proudly, none are anemic, because when they had their periods, they immediately got greens and pot liquor, and we do eat meat, and they did have liver and certain other African traditional foods, so they never got anemic. But if your child's bleeding every month, putting out blood, and all she eats is a burger bill and fries and pizza and squiggly noodles and a sandwich and, potato salad, because I'm vegetarian, what'd you eat? I had some tempeh. I never heard the word green. We should be eating collard greens every single day, literally every day. That's our culture. Folks ate greens every single day, and down in the 30s and 40s, Black women were never anemic. They did not get osteoporosis. That's fact. They ate greens every day. They had this, all they had. They ate greens all day and beans, because we didn't have the money to just go eat. Plus, we liked it. We believed in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay, good. Okay. So switching up our diets, making sure our iron is good, and really getting rid of those chemical components that cause more harm down the line.
Right.
Which is far worse. It's not worth the immediate satisfaction of my cramps are lessened and I'm not bleeding as much because of the birth control. Right. Yeah, my mother we grew up very similar to how you raised your children.
Okay.
As far as the food goes, we didn't eat a whole lot of fast food, junk food. My mother never put me on birth control, and my cycles were light until I got to college.
Okay.
When I got to college, I started going crazy with the double cheeseburgers and sodas and whatnot. Right. My cycles became very heavy, but I never got on birth control. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, the food changed.
Right. The food changed. My food changed. My diet changed. My stress levels changed. So my body went through a very big shift after that. But that's good to know that our traditional foods, the wet foods, not the fried foods, the boiled foods, the yams.
With the greens, I always have to have greens every single day, twice a day. So yams and sweet potato, yams and collard greens, yams and turnip greens, yams and pumpkin leaves. It has to be the leaves.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
That's where all the energy is.
One of the things I started doing around here was foraging poke leaves, dandelion greens. Yep. So we have a variety, to give the children and for myself. Okay. So
how's your
now?
No, I call you out. I called you out. You don't say anything.
Put me on the spot. No, I have to. I'm due for a checkup. I have to go see. Okay. I have a naturopath here in North Carolina that I go see about once a year, who checks my everything. So, Yep. Real quick, what are your thoughts on the decolonization of midwifery in our birthing spaces? What does the traditional model look like in a fully decolonized birth setting?
I'm going to answer that, but I just want to jump back to one part that I left out. The importance of Black women having physical contact. We need to hug each other more and hug our children more. We need to be in loving relationships. And statistically, we've worked hard in this country all our life. We were forced to work, and so we have a very work ethic. And a lot of times we're not very affectionate. We're very businesslike, and we weren't held a lot. My parents love, girl, go ahead and get. They said it, that was their way, but we're humans. We really need to be hugging each other. So we touch each other. We put good energy. And it does bring down the blood pressure, and it makes us feel good. And when you feel good, your body acts differently. So definitely, we need to be more physically hugging. That's our culture. That ain't them. We will always touchy-feely. I've been to Africa. Men hold hands. The kids hold hands. Everyone's touching each other all the time and hugging. And when the African Americans, we're not doing that. We need to also be in loving relationship with our partner. That person, male or female, needs to be a loving, kind, supportive. All that is part of our physical health. It's not just eating right and then going to get yelled at and be talked down to. So I just wanted to add that piece.
Right. Thank you for that.
Yes.
That's very important. I know I notice a difference in my children
Mm-hmm.
on days when I'm paying them extra close attention and I'm very affectionate with them.
Right.
And days when they are not receiving as much attention as they need and deserve. So
right.
Yeah, thank you for that word.
That's
so
good.
Decolonization of midwifery, where are we with that right now?
We are making great progress. Like you said, it's been 40 years, so we've had a long time of 4 years for me and all of my colleagues out here on the front line, you know, teaching and being at the table and pushing our agenda, the true agenda of that we all own midwifery and we have our culture. And so we have options now. We can find a lot more midwives than we could 20 years ago, you know. So we can see, people know, at least they know the conversation. We know the word doula now. More doctors will understand, like, I'm bringing my doula, I want a midwife, you know, breastfeeding, that's also part of it. So it's getting there. Yeah, we definitely have a long way to go. But I always try to look at the glass half full or half empty. It's half full. We're having Black Midwife Conferences. Jenny Joseph has a school. We got Black Run birthing centers going on. You know, we got Black preceptors. We got the National Black Midwives Alliance with Jamara. You know, she's doing another documentary. So there is a lot of good things going on. Is it enough? No. You know, we have states where it's illegal. We have states where Black midwives can't find a preceptor. And when they do get into the field, yes, there's still racism in the midwifery school, in the space, because it's still, midwifery is still a white space. And that's why we're having this conference. We need to have our own space and get big enough so the space becomes equal. You know, 4 or 5 Black women in all 100, 50 room white midwives, nothing against them. They have the way that they do things, we have the way that we do things, and our way may not, their way may not be our way. And I want to talk about consent encapsulation. Everyone's doing that. Everyone's doing it because a white woman created that in the 70s. She was a hippie. There's no scientific evidence of culture on that. She felt because mammals eat their afterbirth that we should do it. But Africans, as a rule, from my research, we don't eat our afterbirth. We're spiritual. We would bury it and bring the child to that area as a healing site. So if my child gets sick, his placenta's in the backyard, I'll say, go where your other half is, and that you go there to be near it. Now, yeah, it's degraded. He's in his 20s, but that was the belief. So it wasn't, you didn't eat it. You know, so it's a personal thing, but my point is that we just pick up traditions that aren't our traditions because we don't know ours. That's why we take this, we don't know. So it's important we learned what the Southern African American traditional midwifery was. It was very much a community event. And so even with that colonization, it's not just I help you have your baby. Am I saying hi to your children when I come in? Am I talking to your partner? Am I respecting your mom? That was a whole circle of midwifery, because midwifery is about healing the world. It's not mother baby. That's also very European centric, with women. With Africa, it means with the community. It means spiritual healer. It means giver. So it's a very different meaning for us. And so how we practice should be able to reflect that.
Right. That's something that in my research, I found that the midwives, the grand midwives of the antebellum pre-emancipation period, they didn't just catch babies. They healed them throughout their lives into adulthood. And then they caught their babies and then healed those babies into adulthood. They were women of the community. They healed the whole entire community. So I know that midwifery work is mother work. It's healer work. Now, the traditional midwifery model of care that you have promoted provides remedy for the disparate infant maternal mortality rates. What would you say to pregnant people who are afraid to birth at home? Even though we know that historically hospital births are a fairly new phenomenon.
Exactly.
Most women, well, all women prior to the 1950s gave birth at home.
That's right. That wasn't an option, first of all. And we wanted to. We didn't trust the hospital. We knew Miss Mamie Lee, So, exactly. I just put on my Instagram that, my Twitter, that we're talking about maternal mortality. And I said, until women give it the fear of being pregnant, being in labor, and birth, we'll continue to be at the mercy of the medical institution. So you have to give it the fear, and that means you have to trust. I don't know people's personal belief system, but I'll just say for my belief system, I believe that my body is perfect, That the Creator made me have children, and my having a baby is a legacy. I'm not the first one. There's millions of women who have done this. And so I never feared being pregnant. You know, I liked being pregnant. I didn't fear my labor. I didn't fear having a baby. All my babies at home as well. It doesn't mean that everybody can. You can start at home and wind up in the hospital. But the main thing, you have to trust your body. So when the doctor says to you, I'm going to do this to you, you can say, you're not, because I know I don't need it. So the doctor told me, I need to induce you, because my baby came at 42 weeks. You're supposed to have it, according to them, at 39 or 40. We're going to induce us. Well, you're not going to induce me, because for one, you also need to check your cycle. So I know for me, that's pretty. I know for me, I have my cycle would be every 31 days. It means that it looks like I'm 41 weeks, but I'm not. I was only 40. So know when your period comes. Learn your body. You know when you ovulate. All that has to do with giving you the power to tell the health about that. You know, I know my body, and I don't need to be induced. You know, trust that your baby's going to come out okay. Because you have all that fear, whatever they say do, you just do, and you wind up just being a puppet, and then have something they didn't need to do, and you have problems because you didn't trust your body. So I don't know how to get you to do that. You know, you have to figure that out. How do you learn to trust your body and not be so afraid? You know we've watched TV over the years. The woman's always dying. We're hearing maternal mortality all the time. TV shows people screaming out of control, and he comes usually a doctor saves them. Never remember. So we have things in our childhood. We just grow up seeing all this negativity, but it's not the truth. You gotta find Larisha and talk with her or take a doula training. If you're not gonna be a doula, you should take the training. And what it does, it normalizes birth for you. It gives you a way to advocate for yourself and for your children, not just women. I even advocate for my son because it's basic information how to talk to medical providers. Excuse me, did you wash your hands? Excuse me, what is your name? And by the way, really, I said, what school did you go to? Like, where'd you grad? And how long have you been a doctor? Why? I let them talk to me. Do you like kids? If you don't, why are you touching my baby? So you have to, be comfortable, and that comes from having the education. And most of them have not learned anything about birth because our parents didn't know. The church and mosque don't talk about it. Where do you get it from? We don't. Right. We have to take a training. One day we won't have to, but I would suggest you all take doula training just to get the basics of how the body works. Our body. Yeah.
That was that's how I got my start with doula training. Was with my own pregnancy.
Right.
I said because I was so scared. I was scared of my birthing body. I was afraid of pregnancy. I had never experienced it before, and so I was like, I wonder what.
What were you afraid of? What were you afraid of?
The first thing that came to mind as far as fear goes was the pain.
Okay.
The pain of it. And so what I did was I researched the hospitals in my area. And that's when I learned about Black maternal mortality rates and how healthy women would go into the hospital ready to give birth. And then during the process, they would just give up the ghost. And I'm like, I definitely don't want that to happen to me. There's nothing wrong with my body. I'm not sick. I don't feel like I need to risk. I really felt like I would have been risking my life. I don't need to risk myself going to give birth in the hospital. Let me just see what other options are out there. So I looked into the birthing center and I found out that it's connected by a narrow hallway to the hospital. Right. And if you bleed during labor, they're gonna wheel you from there to the hospital. And I'm like, bleeding seems like a very normal part of labor and delivery to me.
You really shouldn't be bleeding in labor, by the way.
Really?
So, yeah, really. Water comes out. Where's the blood coming from? The baby's in water. So if a lot of blood's coming out, there's something else going on. That's a warning for us.
Okay.
If I'm getting midwife at home and you're bleeding, we are going to the hospital.
Okay.
So I want to say that, and that's why it's important that we kind of get our, get the information. A little bit of blood, but when someone's bleeding, it means someone's going to the placenta or there's a cervical tear or something. Yeah, we don't want. Yeah. But I was just saying, you don't want to be so close to the hospital. If one little thing happens, they're going to leave you and rush you over to the mainland and wind up having a severe infection.
Exactly. Yeah. I just didn't want to have. And I didn't want to have a C-section. I didn't want anybody cutting me open. Right. I was too worried. So I looked up how, what my options were for birthing at home then. Since the birthing center also scared me, the hospital scared me, the birthing center scared me. Okay, what does home look like? I can hire a midwife and have a midwife come attend my birth.
Right.
It's illegal in my state. So I say, you know what? I'm going to do it by myself then. So I went to my partner. I was like, babe, what you think if we have the baby here by ourselves? And he was like, I don't know about all that. Let me look it up first, because he's a brainiac. He wants to look it up too. So we started watching videos together. And that's when I found out that most women around the world give birth at home.
Exactly.
Today, right now. They don't go to hospitals because they're not sick. They're just pregnant and giving birth.
Right.
So I went and watched several videos of women all over the world giving birth to their children, and decided that I was going to do it like that.
Yay.
Yeah, it was really exciting. And nerve-wracking too. I ain't gonna front. I was scared then too. I can't tell you how many times I was like, babe, let's call 911. I don't know about this. And then I had to really dig deep and settle into it and breathe through the contractions and let them come and go. Understanding that just like painful cycles of life, it's going to pass you by.
Right.
Just give it some time. And the more they come, the faster they come, the closer you are to having the baby.
The baby,
so,
right.
Yep, just breathe through it. So I just kept breathing through it, and I could feel my pelvis stretching apart.
Wow.
And I felt every moment, every piece of it. The baby descending down the canal. I was afraid to, but I touched to see how much space it had widened up, and it was like the size of my head. And I was like, oh my God, I felt like that. I felt like Ripley and Aliens when the alien was about to, never mind, I'm not gonna go there. But yeah, it was a very empowering process. It was scary in the moment, but when it was over, I felt like I had initiated into some secret society that only somebody who pushed a baby out of them could enter. My voice was different in the moment. My spirit was different. Things were just very different in that moment that I pushed the baby out. So
you get into motherhood.
Yeah, exactly. And this is I was talking to a friend about it, and everybody who has been through that process has experienced that. They understand what I'm talking about.
Right.
So my last question, there's a growing Sanjata. Sunny, quiet baby. There's a growing inaccessibility for Black women to become midwives in the current national model of midwifery. How can we mitigate the financial strain that being a student midwife comes with?
I know. It is. They're spending so much money. It's such a racket. I think that we have to go to our families. I always start with self first. I think we have to go to our families and let them know what we're trying to do, get their support so they can, we don't know what our families have. We don't ask. I think our families should be supporting us. Every family should be proud of a midwife in their family, in their tribe. So my folks in New York, California, hey, my daughter's become a midwife. Everybody got to help send $10 a week. Creating more scholarships. I created a scholarship. My midwife friend passed away. She's my sister friend. I love her dearly. Ayana Ade passed some years ago. And I created the Ayana Ade Black Student Midwife Scholarship. So my website is shafiamonroe.com. And on there it says midwife. Click on that. And then once a year, I give up $1,500 to just one person. One person gets a lottery. They put their name in it, write about Ayana, and we have someone pull the name out, and whoever name gets it. So it's not based on anything, because you all are worthy. So I do it that way. The National Black Midwives Alliance, they're giving out 10 scholarships. Mercy in Action is giving out scholarships. I don't have the answer. We have to keep going to, and this is like I said about medicine, it's a capitalistic society, and people are charging, trying to make money, and we're coming from the fact we never got our reparation. I bring that seriously. The reason why what America does well, because they told those Europeans, come over here, we have all this land for you. And they gave them all these Native Americans land. They had huge acres that they have and still have, and we didn't get nothing. And so, we're doing great, you all, based on leaving with naked off the field with no education, not allowed to even be where we are today. So I want to commend the African Americans for really, we're an amazing people. So with that said, we're gonna make it work, you all. You just gotta do what you gotta do. You know,
Right.
save money, ask for money, borrow, beg, look for scholarships. You know, I mean, politically, they have the omnibus bill that's out through Congresswoman Underwood. This whole thing of maternal mortality, increasing more midwives. I think you have to read that bill and see if there's any language. You know, write your mayor, write your church. I mean, it's really, it's a hustle. I'm sorry, it's a lot of work. It is.
Yeah.
But then one day it's over, and you'll be a midwife, and you can sit back and, you know, reap the benefit.
Right.
Yeah. So
yes,
everything costs. Food costs.
everything costs.
Yeah.
Right. So you do what you got to do then.
That's right.
Beg, borrow,
quitter.
steal.
Don't be a quitter. That's what I'm gonna say.
Okay.
You know? Yeah. Don't be a quitter. We cannot not be midwives. And you know, at the same time, nobody owes us anything. You know, this is what you want to do. You got to make it happen. You know, and make it happen. And it might take you 4 years. It might take you 8 years, but you will come to the end of the tunnel. I mean, gosh, I went to college for 10 years. It was a 4-year program. Took me 10 years. I had 3 babies, ran 2 nonprofits, a bunch of other stuff, but I never gave up. Then I got my master's, so I thought, I walked cross stage with my 3rd baby in my stomach when I graduated. And it's no shame, but one thing I'm not is a quitter. That's what I say. I don't ever give up. I just keep doing it till I get what I want. So that's the key, you all. Hang in there.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay. There it is, y'all. Shafia Monroe Consulting and the Alabama Birth Equity Committee. May 20th and 21st will be the Alabama Black Midwives Conference in Tuscaloosa. And that will be a good place to network with other midwives, doulas, and practitioners so we can work on possibly even creating a fund within these organizations to help people get through that process. The website to get your tickets to the Alabama Black Midwives Conference will be in the link, linked in the description box. And I'll see y'all there. And I'd like to invite everyone listening to accept your own and be yourself. All our people are our people who choose our people and put our people first. The Nine Minds is an inclusive space for all Afro-Indigenous diaspora people of all identity expressions. And we are the matriarchs of the new revolution. Welcome to the Nine Minds. And thank you so much, Mama Shafia, for your time, energy, and wisdom.
Thank you for having me. You all have, be blessed. You're needed. You're important. You know, just love yourself. You're so deserving.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Well,
all right.
See you on the other side.
Yes, ma'am. You have a beautiful weekend, and I'll see you soon.
Okay. Take care.
Peace.
Thank you. Peace.
You're welcome.
Have your children for me. Tell them I said hi.
I will.
All right. Thank you.